last session for the day. We've got Mohan, who specifically came all the way from Brisbane, so he's beating you, Ben. It's like going from country to country. He decided to come and help us. So Abe was supposed to do this session, but unfortunately he was in Christchurch today, so he couldn't attend in person. And I really wanted that event to be in person and for the presenters to be available to talk to you guys and answer questions. So when the moment I said, "Oh, I'm one speaker short," then Mohan put his hand up. He's like, "Doesn't matter. I'm in Brisbane, but I'll come to one session with you." So thank you very much, Mohan, for coming. And you're going to talk to us about Dataverse, Power Apps, and Power Automate.
Dataverse, Power Automate.
Over to you.
Thank you, Rami. Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome to the last session. I hope I'm able to really wake you up and make a little bit active. So my name is Mohan Prasad Mani. I'm from Brisbane, Australia, and we're going to be talking about Copilot for Dataverse and Power Automate. So yeah, to my picture. I look like a South Indian, Bollywood villain, I guess. Not, people call me that. Yeah. So I work as a solution architect in DXC technology, and I work with Rami on the project which he was mentioning earlier. So I live in Brisbane, Australia, but for the project purpose, I keep traveling. And actually, my passion is to travel, especially for work and around for implementation of Dynamics application. So traveled across the world, lived in UK for 4 years, and then US, and then Mexico, and then Europe, a lot of other places. So Asia Pacific, and finally, I'm here in Australia, but working for New Zealand. So that's my career. And I've been I started working with Dynamics or CRM from 3.0. So from then, I've been working all the way till Power Platform and now. And I consider myself as a CE specialist, a performance specialist. But let's get into the demo first, or the agenda. So for today, we will cover Copilot for Dataverse, and then we'll go to Copilot for Power Automate, where we'll see how Copilot can help make life easy for normal developers or citizen developers or even for end users. And then during the demo, we will cover Dataverse Search, which is where we will see AI can be used as an assistant, right? So the AI can just pop in next to us in a model-driven app, and it can tell you insights, real time, calculate things and stuff. So it's going to be basic thing, but yeah, it's really interesting because AI is something which is really helping you like a personal assistant there. So we'll be looking at that, and then we'll navigate to Copilot for Power Automate, where we'll create a very simple Power Automate I'll tell you the demonstration scenario once we get into the demo, and finally we'll look at how Copilot can help creating a table, suggesting things and stuff. So that's the agenda. So first is before we getting into a demonstration, I just wanted to give a quick view of what are the challenges, of Dataverse, not really the technical limitations or technical capabilities, but generally the challenges, and see how Copilot can actually address those challenges. So first is Dataverse can be a little bit complex when working for an organization like big organization who use multiple data structures, and Dataverse can be complex, especially for organizations which have diverse data requirements. So that is one of the complexity. We have actually, I think Rami, right? We have almost using 80 odd entities or 100 odd entities in our implementation. So that kind of sometimes, the meaning of some of the entities get lost during this kind of a complex implementations. Copilot can actually help in reducing such issues. The next is performance optimization. So again, the same thing, right? When you have multiple data, and tons of data there, so it can be a challenging to have query optimizations or indexing strategies or partitioning per se to data and maintaining acceptable response time. So that is another. Data security and compliance. So security is one of the most important aspect of any organization, right? So the Copilot can actually help you design some complex data security, and it has the ability to understand the various protocols, the regulations of certain countries or organizations, and then it can help them. So that is one of the challenge which can which will be helped by the Copilot. And custom development and extensibility. And Dataverse needs to be extended to do some custom functionality to integrate with other applications and stuff. So that can be a challenge to identify the best practices, best DevOps practices, and we were talking about the PAC CLI and YAML commands for implementations. So here, Copilot actually can in data modeling and entity design. A Copilot can actually suggest entities. So, for example, in the demo, we'll see that I'll be creating a simple table, like just asking Copilot to create a simple table. But what it does is it not only creates the table, but also designs or the basic attributes and stuff. So it tells you, what, okay, for a student table, we need a full name, we need a phone number, we need a class, and stuff like that. So that is one kind of recommendation usually provided by Copilot. And the second is, it also provides some code snippets, best practices. So it has that intelligence to actually understand what your requirement is and then come up with the design appropriately. And the performance optimization, this is again very critical for when you're designing for organizations which are more than like multiple tables and data, data structure in there. So it recommends some query optimizations, indexing strategies, and data partition techniques, and also offers some insights, real-time insights into what you're developing, or is it like optimal one to go ahead, or is there a way we can improve the efficiency or reduce the latency? I think it can help in that too. And the integration guidance, very simple thing is it suggests for connectors. The moment I create a Power Automate, right? Like I say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna, on submit of a form or on receipt of an email, if I write a code like that, it is automatically gonna suggest me, okay, a form, Microsoft form, an email, is it Outlook or anything else. So that kind of an intelligent, suggestions for especially using connectors or APIs or integration solutions, right? Custom integration solutions it provides. And custom development support is another thing which it can help, like I already said it. So when you create a data, a Power Automate or a Cloud Flow for a particular requirement, it also tells you what the triggers are. The structure of the whole Power Automate is automatically defined. And it also tells where the validation rules are already applied when you create a, that is especially helpful in Dataverse table when you create a table. So, and actually I see that as a very, very valuable assistant for developers, administrators, citizenship developers, and then the stakeholders who work with Dataverse. Any person who's working on Dataverse, trying to create a simple app. Actually, I want to give an example. So my daughter is actually, working. She's like 10, 11, and she works on Scratch programming, where you can actually, it's like a game development app and stuff. So all she needs to do is drag and drop, but still, you need to understand the logically. If, she has a little bit difficulty in understanding those, the logics and stuff, and maybe because she's 10-year-old. But the moment I showed her like the Power Automate capability or the Dataverse capability, she was like, "Wow, Daddy, this is easier than what I'm doing." So, so that's how it is easier. So any person who's like easy, down to earth, they can actually use Copilot to at least build the basic of what is Dataverse or Power Automate, and also for people for complex developers, it will help you identify best practices from the from whatever experience it has. And security and compliance, we already discussed that it can help you identify encryptions, auditing, compliances, and then especially it can tell you how to maintain compliance, data protection laws. Having worked in multiple countries, I know the regulations are different for different countries, and regulations are different for organizations, government organizations than a private organization. When you feed the right data in, I think it can understand that and also recommend the right security laws and security compliance to be done. So now we'll go to the challenges of Power Automate. I think most of the challenges are very similar to what we had in Dataverse, but the only thing here is complexity in workflow design, right? So we had something called workflow earlier, right? So which was really very simple for any functional consultant to do, or any person like a business user would use the out of the box workflow, the classic workflow, and create a complex workflow too. But the same person, when he was given an opportunity to work on Power Automate, there was a little bit of hiccup there. So it is a little bit complicated than workflow, but yeah, eventually it is coming down. But I think Copilot can definitely help users like that to move into the modern the cloud flows. So that is the first challenge which it can address. And then the rest of the things are performance and scalability. Sometimes because of the data, high transaction data, or large data sets, the performance issues can be there, like slow executions, or if not designed properly, it could be slow, and there will be performance issues in there. So that is another challenge. Integration challenges are like integrating with legacy applications or custom built applications is another challenge which you have, where you have to build custom connectors or custom integrations. So Copilot can help by workflow design assistance. So the moment I type in like conversationally saying, give me a process, or send, when I receive an email, send a reply email. So when I give a code like that, so it can just build the whole structure. We'll see in the demo. It will build the whole structure in such a way that you don't have to think about design. It even when I asked a question to the Copilot saying, if I have to add a condition, it exactly adds into the right or the optimum place, and skips the, thereby the structure, the design of the whole Power Automate is done automatically, or, and then the user can, of course, he'll have to review it and then work on it, but at least it gives it, like, instead of you working and dragging and dropping and, putting all your brain into it, it gives you the whole structure. And then similarly with integration guidance, it tells you what connectors can be used, what APIs can be used, or custom. If you have a custom connector defined in your organization, it'll help you with that too. And it provides some snippets, code snippets, PowerFX codes, and that's what I think we saw in the morning. So that can the Copilot can also recommend codes and provide some samples for us to work with. Error handling and monitoring support. This is very good. So this is useful mostly for a service organization, where service organization where we work. One of them has this proactive monitoring in place. So instead of getting errors, the user reporting errors, what they do is they proactively monitor error logs, and this can suggest Copilot can suggest monitoring tools which can be integrated to get that kind of an insight, and it can also kind of handle robust error handling logic. So if this error handling is mostly by a developer, but if it is a normal user, like a citizen user or a business user, he can actually put the right error logic conditions into the Power Automate, and then have the best practices we followed. Yeah. And like we spoke about, performance optimizations can be done by reducing unnecessary actions or optimizing the data processing logic and parallelizing logic. It also provides insights and recommendations for efficient, optimizing the efficiency and execution times. And cost. Yeah, another very good advantage of Copilot is that it can help you identify places where you have, where the design is not efficient, that the users, because of the bad design, they have not selected the right connectors or not using the right resources, and thereby, it could increase the cost of the product. So that it can identify such bad practices and help you with that. So thereby, you can optimize the cost. Okay. Now, first we'll get into the demo now, where we will see Copilot as an AI assistant. How this data insight can be brought real time to any model-driven app, and then we will also build a Power Automate, and then finally we'll look at creating a table and an app. So here I have a model-driven app called Student Catalog. I just took a very simple example so that everybody can understand. So this Student Catalog has number of active students. And I did use Copilot to create this. So it has full name, gender, and the course, and year level, the GPAs, and other thing is enrollment dates and graduation date, and the various subject GPAs like math, technology, and English. So what we will do is on the right, you can see the Copilot the section, right? So that's where you could use that as an AI, assistant, and we can ask certain questions to it. So let me just, in this one, let me just quickly go and ask. You see there is a column mismatch. The column says math GPA, but let's see if it's getting the right value in there. Yeah, that worked. So Michael Brown has the maximum score in maths. So it is able to give us like very simple response within few seconds. Oh, I have a few cues here, which I want to try using it. And let's get into like a little bit complicated now, complex query now. Let's check what is the average GPA of the student. This query, you won't be able to get it using advanced find. You will have to definitely have a chart or a report to actually get this. Let's see if the system is able to, Copilot is able to give us the answer for this. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. You have the average GPA of the students is 3.69. So it is not only able to get the data in real time, but also able to calculate the average real time. So that is another the advantage. Let's go and look at another one. See here, what's the average GPA of chemistry students? So here in this one, we have two things, right? One is to calculate the GPA, and the other one is it's going to talk about this chemistry. It's going to filter based on the course, I think. Yeah. So we have the course column here, and it has chemistry in there. So what it's going to do is it's going to just calculate the GPA of chemistry students, the average GPA of the chemistry students. So let's see what it's going to come back with. The average GPA of chemistry students is 3.58. So again, it has done two slicing and dicing. One is calculation of GPA as well as slice of the data from the course. So okay, let's leave the GPA and let's get into the other component of it, which is actually per se from a date. Okay. So how many students got enrolled in 2021? So here, there are two ways in which you could actually answer this query. One is, okay, can you list me the students who are enrolled in 2021? What it's going to do is it's going to do a navigation, part of execution. And then in this case, I just have asked for how many students. So it has come back to me and said, yeah, 14 students have enrolled in 2021. And the next question, okay, another slice and dice of data. So what is the highest maths GPA obtained by a student enrolled in 2022? So here the system will have to find the highest math GPA, and also the student, it has to look at the students who got enrolled in 2022. So it is going to come back with that number for sure. Yeah, so that is again another simple query, and let me show the navigation part of it. So there are apps where, in some of the organizations, the apps are really you have so many items on the left navigation pane to look at, and for users, it may not be really easy for them to remember where those components are. So, in that scenario, we could actually use this kind of, Copilot to identify or directly get into that record. So when you click on that, it's going to open that record, or when you click on show on all page, it will take you to that. The results. And another scenario, let's say I'm in an account, if I want to just go back to students entity or students navigation, though I need to do this, open students. Yeah. I should have put an active condition there. from accounts, you can just click on this and it will take you to the students menu. So how this actually works is by this works in the principle of Dataverse search. So in Power Platform, we have this Dataverse search where we had to go to like admins or each of these entities will have the settings where we have to turn on the Dataverse search, and for each of the columns, we have to navigate to quick find and open the quick find columns, and so that works on this works on that principle. So you'll have to configure your Dataverse settings in such a way that you could go and explore the particular entity. It is really not recommended to have all the columns in there, because again the search performance will come and you will also get junk data in there or the data which may not be required. So it is really optimal to design in such a way that you decide what needs to be really queried and stuff. So accordingly, the training can be given for the users. That's the first one. I think that is for the Copilot. I'm really not going to show the admin part of it. So we'll move on to the next section or the next topic, which is Power Automate. Here, I have a very simple scenario where I have a form here, which is a simple CSAT form. So this customer satisfaction form has like four values in it. One is how will you rate the service? How courteous was the agent? Which product was the query related to? And then the comments, and then you submit it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a Power Automate flow on submit of this form, which is going to get triggered on submit of this form, and is going to post a message in Teams. So, and then we will probably try adding some more things to it, like sending an email and stuff. But let's try doing the simple. For that, we need to go to wake.powerautomate.com. And then here is where you have the Copilot option. Sage. The Teams when a form is submitted. That's the queue. It gives this is the queue which I got it from my history, but it definitely gives you some kind of a queue when you actually start typing to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say post a message to Teams when a form is submitted. The moment I select that, it will take you to the next screen where it's going to give you the structure, right? What is the trigger? It's going to say, the trigger is form, and then the actions. It's going to get the response from the form, and then it's going to post a message into the chat or the channel. So once you are okay with that, what you need to do is next. And then the connections, I had connected to all my account. So I'll just go and click on create flow. So it has actually given the structure as well as it's a pretty simple Power Automate flow. We will try adding more components to it. It says when a new response is submitted, and then that's the trigger. And then you have get response details and then post message in the chat or channel. So this structure is available, but we still need to go and populate the values there. So let me just go click on this. So yeah, first when the form is response is submitted, right? So we need to select the form. I'm just going to select the CSAT form. And then get response. Again, I have to select the form ID. And then post a message. So I'm going to be posting as flow and post it in a channel. And the Teams ID is, yeah. Channel I will be using is, and within the team, I have like two channels. One is general and one is bootcamp channel. Let me select this one. I have the channel here open for me. Let's add the message. Here you have like two icons here, which tells you data from previous steps. So that's like, you can enter that data dynamically. So I'm going to say the answer to the above question, right? How will you rate the service? I'm going to select that. Then let's say, 8 agent score. Courteous was the agent. And then let's say product. I'll select the product too. And finally comments for us to clearly understand what was done. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let me select some color components. Really not giving so much. Yeah, and let me make it as bold. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll save this. I think pretty much we have given all the information which is needed for this flow. We'll quickly look at the form and see how this is getting executed, and then we'll go on to the next step, which is adding a few more details to the flow. Okay, just refresh this form. Let me say 4, and then how Courteous was the agent 5, and then let's say laptop, and let's say moment I went activated it. Let me test it. Yeah, I'm going to submit the form. And let's go back to the, yeah, it looks like it has executed. And yeah, there you go. It has also posted the details according to what we had given. So it has given us the C score, agent score, and the product is laptop, and comments is bootcamp demo. So this is a simple example of example of Power Automate flow. Now we'll go into the. You have a question?
Yes. There's a couple of questions online about security. So when you're going and asking Copilot questions, it is available in Dataverse and it's retrieving the responses. Or let's say you're using an orchestration to retrieve information from Dataverse and then bring it back to the user. Is the security respected? So if I have access or I do not have access to that data, can I still access it?
Yeah, ideally it should actually behave on behalf of the user. So if the user has access to the data, then it should. But I haven't really tested that scenario. I mean, I had that question too, but I think it will be designed in such a way that it has to definitely respect the security. Otherwise, that's not the right design.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you configure it. So if you elevate the privilege to go and retrieve data from Dataverse, then obviously it will go beyond what you have.
Yeah.
But if it's impersonating the same user, then I will limit that to the user.
Right back in workflows, we had that concept of defining where the workflow belonged, right? Like to a user, business unit, and similar that we have something similar to that in the Power Automate flow too. I think that's how it will work. Yeah. Oops. I think I just save it. I have to make. So I did not save it, and actually looks like it has. Okay, we will go again and add the details, but this time what we will do is we will also add a condition to send a message only when the rating is 5, and also we'll add another step, sending email like by default. So what I'm going to say is, okay, let me quickly fill in this information. Let's just rating, then comments. Yeah, where this will. Yeah. Okay. Now I will add another queue here to send. Also send an email when a form is submitted. So let's see what it's doing. It should ideally understand that it is an and condition, and it should probably add another step in there for an email. So here it automatically adds the component. So what it has also done is in the background, it has also selected the Outlook connector by default. This is what I was saying. So it can recommend you connectors as well based on your queue, based on your conversation. So it will tell you what connector needs to be added. Not going to change anything in here. And let's add another condition in there saying if to add an if condition there. So we'll say post a message only when the score is CSAT score is 5. Let's see if it adds the condition in the right place. Sometimes it does, sometimes it behaves a little bit different. Yeah, this time it was right. So what it is doing is the condition, it has added a condition in there and also added if the condition is true, then it's going to send a message, but irrespective of that, it's going to send an email to the user. So that's, and let me quickly change the condition because it may not know what the values are. So how will you rate the service? CSAT is equal to, I have to give it as a string. Yeah. So if the CSAT value is equal to 5, then it's going to post a message. So that is the the value which the Power Automate, the Copilot can do, right? So it can add value by creating those queries and transitions and conditions and branches. So this is a very simple example, and we have done like flows where we have integrated with multiple different applications, and we use AKV, key walls to get the secrets and passwords for. So you could actually use those. We have to definitely do some trial and error method for understanding what language it understands, or so that, and after that we should be able to design it properly. Let me quickly save it and let us give a try. Submit this. How will you rate the service? You'll have to rate it 5. And then 6. Submit it. Yeah, so the messaging has gone. So we got the message here in the channel. CSAT 5 score is 5, and the comment. I don't know if I got the email. Oh, I have the email closed. Yeah. So the new form has been submitted. So we got an email, but it has an error. I will not be able to open that error message now because of the data piracy. So that is how the Power Automate Copilot can actually help you in Power Automate. So we all do we have any questions or can we move on to the next one? Okay, we'll move on to the next one, which is Dataverse, which is a very interesting topic. I really liked when I started working on Copilot with this. So what we will do is, I think I have a quick, let's create a simple app for, say, zoo animals, okay? So I have the queue here, and then, so let's say we will create an app for tracking zoo animals. Create an app for tracking. Like trying to give additional information. So the moment you actually want to create an app, when you type in such queues, what it does is it immediately the first step is to create the table. So the table structure is here. It recommends you some of the fields like animal ID, name, enclosure number, the species, and date of birth. I think we can do some activities. So this is the table which you can define. One of the simple limitation of creating a Copilot table is that you won't be able to modify the entity properties or table properties or the column properties in the same UI, but you can always create the table and then go back and update the table and the columns, but not via the Copilot, because the Copilot is still working on it. And then it doesn't really create the table in there, it is just giving you the structure. Let me quickly tell the Copilot to remove date of birth. Not going to even say column in there. Okay, yeah, it is updating it real time. It has taken off the the way the date of birth column. And let me say, instead of adding columns one by one, I'm going to say, add like additional 5 columns or something like that. 5 more columns. And when you look at the table, right, it actually also gives you the data type. So this is a data type. I think this is a text, and it could be a data option set or a choice. So we'll have a look at that too. So when I added this animal, add 5 more columns in there. Did age, it added weight, habitat, diet, the status, which is good. So that is the, let us check this column here and say it's a single line of text, right? Let's convert this single line of text into a choice, which is a species column.
Is it grayed out because you have to do it through prompts? When you clicked on that menu, it looked like it was grayed out, like you couldn't manually change it. Do you have to?
Yeah, the table is not yet created, I think, in the back end. If I leave it like that, I can't find the table in there. So you will need to create the table first, and then you have to go back and modify it. It doesn't let you change it on the form.
A hybrid experience, Copilot only.
Yeah. Change the data type of species column to twice. So I'm going to use habitat instead of that. There are so many values in there. Change the data type of habitat to choice with value savanna, jungle, bushes, grassland, and Arctic. It's like it has changed. Let me go and check it. Yeah. So it has automatically changed the data type from text to option set. See if there are anything interesting in there. Yeah, so that is how you would be able to modify, update the table. And then once you're done with the table, you could just go and click on create the app button. And what it does is It creates the table first and also loads the table inside the app. It creates the structure of the app. Let me add some data before getting into it. Add more. That is done. Let's go in. Yeah. So it has also added some demo data or sample data in there with additional animals in there. Okay, let me go and create the app now. It probably takes a minute or two to create the app, maybe because I'm interacting with US server. When it is local, I think it'll be faster. It always starts with the mobile form and then it automatically converts that to a bigger one. See? So there you go, you have your Canvas app with basic details about, and you could actually change them by clicking them or, let me add a button. Say, let's say, add a button. And run a Power Automate to send email. Hope it doesn't get confused with my commands. Yeah, so it has actually added the button here. Just gonna move it here, and then also in the backend it has, the Power Automate probably is not active now or not created, but yeah, it gives you that place to actually or placeholder to create the Power Automate and adds the command. So that's how you'll be able to create the Power app or a Canvas app. And I don't know, by default, it always creates the Canvas app. I think it can also be used to create model-driven apps too. I did create the model-driven app, the student app manually, not from Power Automate. Yeah. So that is what I had for today's session. Any questions?
In the original query on Dataverse of the data, and you ask a whole series of GPA questions, one built on another or refining the other. And does it always go to answer a question from scratch, in other words, or does it build on some of your previous ones?
I tried building but I think currently it doesn't do it. Sometimes it does it, like it remembers the previous question from a previous session at you.
Yeah.
And then calculates it right. So for example, I used a query with 3 filters in there. First time it failed, but second time or third time, when I started giving it more cues, it started building it. And then the next session, like entirely a different session, it was intelligent enough to get that answer correct. So I think it is learning as we, yeah.
There's one question about whether the capabilities are available in all regions. I think, Mohan, you and I used a US-based version, but I think that they are, most of it is GA across the globe and or in preview at least. And then all you have to do is just make sure that it's enabled. There's an option. In fact, can you go to the admin center?
You guys are very like me, getting a US tenant, you get the stuff first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and mainly because I set that up maybe last year when I started doing the demo, and I just use it because it's there. But yeah, on the features and the environment, there should be a Copilot toggle. Yeah, the first one. So just make sure this is. Yeah, that's fine. But just make sure it's enabled. Once you tick that, then Copilot is available.